So tonight we watched Yesterday, which I realized came out a while ago, but it's a movie called Yesterday, so it's okay if we see it well after it comes out. That's fine. This was a movie Yvonne's been bugging me to watch since we saw the first trailer for it.
Yeah.
So, take it away.
What do you want me to say?
Well,
are we doing spoilers?
Well, first off, we can tell people whether or not they think they should see it before we do spoilers.
Okay. Well, if you like the Beatles, then absolutely you'd like the movie just because it's kind of fun. There's a lot of Beatles music in it.
There's a lot of Beatles.
And it's done really well.
Yep.
He sings it quite well.
Yeah.
So that part's really fun. Yeah, in parts that he couldn't remember the lyrics, so it was kind of funny. Eleanor Rigby, I know all the words, so it's just kind of one of those.
But you can see why Eleanor Rigby is tough to remember, because everybody remembers...
it doesn't quite make sense.
And not only that, but everybody remembers all the lonely people. They remember that part. That's the part people, focus on, is all the lonely people. Yeah. Where do they all come from?
Oh, she's picking up the rice!
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I'll say, as a person who's mildly a Beatles fan, I guess, because we watched this in Vegas last December, I enjoyed it, though I have some questions, and I have some issues. I have many issues. There were moments during this movie where my reaction was,
wait, what?
No. So... Before we get into spoilers, I will say this. If you've been on the fence about this, it's a cute little movie. It's harmless.
It's cute. It's a romantic comedy.
It's at the cheap theaters now, so you can go out and you don't have to spend a mint to go and see it.
Go on Tuesday, it's
not
$2.
3D. It's not something with Thor's hammer in it or anything like that. Although that might explain some things. But if you're looking for a movie with a lot of explanations, this isn't it. Just going to warn you guys right now if you're like, well, I can't wait till they tie this together. Really kind of doesn't. So that's just for people who might tune away. Okay, that being said, we're now going to get into spoilers for people who don't care to see it, or for people who've already seen it and want to have a discussion about the movie Yesterday. And it's... I think that the bizarre part is, to me...
The bizarre part.
Okay, the main bizarre part is this. So we come into a movie with a guy who is a hapless singer, songwriter, and he's frustrated, and he's downtrodden. And then this miracle thing happens where everybody forgets who the Beatles are, so he can put these songs out and go, hey, these are mine. Mm-hmm. These are my songs. At no point in this movie does any song that he actually wrote himself become a success. Nobody wants to hear it. They're considered crap. And I was waiting for something to happen where he made peace with the fact that his music might not be very popular, but he likes to sing it. And that never happened. Mm-hmm. Never happened.
Well, see, and I thought maybe he would do one of his songs intermixed with all the Beatles songs, and people would just be all excited just because it was a song that he was doing.
It's bizarre, because there's a moral, and then they sort of go, yeah... You can almost hear whoever wrote this movie going, man, this is the part where normally the protagonist ends up getting screwed over and he goes broke and he's lonely. We'll just skip that. You don't need to do that here.
Well, I think it seems like they had the idea for the movie. They did it hit a lot of the points that you would expect it to do. A lot of it you could, okay, this is going to happen next. Because it's one of those stories.
Yep.
It follows a course that you've seen before. But then it's like they didn't plan the end.
The ending is just sort of there.
So how are we going to end this?
I guess they get married then?
Didn't.
I guess they have kids?
So it didn't explain any of it? Because there's not only no Beatles, but there's no other things. So no Oasis, no Coca-Cola, no cigarettes, no Harry Potter.
See, the Oasis thing I thought was clever. Sense. That was clever, because Oasis was kind of a rip-off of the Beatles. I got it. There shouldn't have been Blur either. Blur never should have existed.
But then there were other things. Coca-Cola.
Which predates the Beatles.
Right.
By a lot. Harry Potter, why wouldn't she have written the Harry Potter books? So and cigarettes, those are hundreds and hundreds of years back. I found that
Just
kind of
random things.
random.
Yeah.
And I thought at one point, so are things he liked being winked out of existence? Because he was a smoker and he liked drinking Coke. The difference is this: if I wake up tomorrow in a world where Coca-Cola doesn't exist and somebody tries to give me a Pepsi, I'm going to go, what else do you have? Because honestly, Pepsi doesn't agree with me. I've been over this many times. She will tell you. I have repeatedly gone, you know what, maybe it's not Pepsi. And then I've come to the sad realization that it is Pepsi that doesn't agree with me. And I'm sad every time. Because I love Diet Cherry Pepsi, but I can't drink it. So if I wake up tomorrow in a world where I can't drink Coca-Cola, fine, I'll get something else. I'm not turning to Pepsi. And when he turned to Pepsi, I'm like, okay, so that's product placement right there. That's product placement.
I don't think it is. No,
well,
that would be some horrible product placement.
Oh,
well,
agreed.
I guess I'll drink that if that's all I have.
That's their gimmick. Their gimmick is Pepsi okay? And it's like, right. Yeah, I guess it's all right. Is fake money okay? That's the greatest answer.
Number 2's not so bad.
We're number 2. We're number 2. The choice of the not generation. So my biggest problem was that he has this epiphany, and he has a concert where Ed Sheeran plays himself well. Ed Sheeran can be Ed Sheeran. I learned in this movie Ed Sheeran's acting might be fine, but he's just Ed Sheeran and he's just kind of there. So I don't know if Ed Sheeran's a good actor or not. We'll have to wait and see. And so you have this concert and it's this big, huge thing. And he admits, I didn't write any of these songs. It was John, Paul, George, and Ringo, who nobody knows who they are.
Right. Nobody
has a clue. And then he just leaves after saying he loves Ellie.
Oh, and uploading all the music on
They upload all the music for free, and then it just sort of ends there.
Yeah.
He would have had his ass sued off by his record company.
Yeah.
His record company would not have accepted that at all.
No.
He would have been, in saying I didn't write any of this music, they can get him for fraud.
Except for they wouldn't have been able to find any copies of it.
But they still would have tried.
These people.
They would have done something.
So people would have just been like, okay.
Then he looks crazy.
Yes, he would have looked crazy. Because there would be no record of the Beatles or these people having anything to do with each other or writing music together. So it's not copyright infringement if it didn't exist in that
the fantastic thing in this movie, and I wish they'd done more of this, is that they have a 78-year-old John Lennon in the movie. We could have had an amazing moment with McCartney. We could have had a moment with Ringo. He could have visited the three of them. Now, George Harrison's passed away due to natural causes. You couldn't have him in this movie because he still would have passed away in this reality. But you could have done something really cool which gets more into who they are and something. And it's like the movie kind of gets into that a little bit with the John Lennon bit, and then it just kind of doesn't. Like when he said, well, I fell in love, and I thought, anybody would ask him with who?
That part was weird, and it made it sound like
John was happier not
with them anymore.
No,
because you're thinking, okay, it's Yoko.
No, well, it would have been Julian's mother.
But you don't know that.
Or no, no, Julian's mother.
Why wouldn't it be Yoko though?
I was thinking, wait, that's Sean. Sean was Yoko's kid. Trying to keep his kids straight here. But, like, you know, I was surprised he didn't ask with who. Because, no, it wouldn't have been Yoko. He never would have met Yoko Ono.
You never know.
So, it's,
coulda.
It's bizarre. And it kind of connects the dots and then it kind of doesn't. You never find out why the world winked out other than to help him. It's really weird.
Well, and then there were two other people that remembered as well.
But why?
Right, like
why did two people out of 7 billion people on Earth remember the Beatles other than him?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I really thought we'd have this moment where he admits what happened, the world goes dark again, and everything resets. And the moment before he gets run off his bike, we go back to that moment. The bus doesn't hit him, and he rides off to find Ellie and tell her, I'm in love with you. This is the life I want. He accepts the job that he's got, the crappy job in a warehouse. I know that feeling well. Accepting the crappy job in the warehouse and finding the woman that you love while you work in that crappy job in the warehouse. That can be all the happiness you need, and you don't need anything else.
You're such a dork.
So that's the kind of thing that I kind of wanted to see at the end of this, and then it just kind of goes, nah, he's still famous, and he still sings. And
so if this had really happened, if, you know, he knew the songs of the Beatles, though I'm surprised he didn't get into it, and I thought it was going to touch on it, because when he was playing that rooftop, he played that song a little bit different, added a bit more rock to it. Some of those songs, they don't work in our time.
No.
Like USSR. The boys, like our kids, what's the USSR? They know Russia, they know a lot of the other countries.
When he performed back in the USSR in Moscow, that was great.
Right.
But then he performed it again later, and I'm like, this doesn't belong here.
Right. So, and then same with I Want to Hold Your Hand. If that was a song now, people would be like, this is really corny.
That's why it was weird to me that they changed Hey Jude to Hey Dude, but they didn't change anything else.
Right. So, I was kind of surprised there wasn't any talk of, other than Hey Dude, of how these songs would be played differently now.
Yeah.
Even if you listen to Beatles CDs, you can tell it was made in a different time where the technology and the instruments were quite different.
Yep.
They didn't even record it in stereo.
Right.
None of that. Yet that's not.
Yeah,
It didn't change anything.
So, as a romantic movie, it's kind of a letdown in that the romance is kind of hinted at in the beginning, and then, forget it, it's too weird, we're like brother and sister. And then all of a sudden at the end, he's in love with her after earlier on when he had a chance, and she's like, I don't know why you don't love me. He's like, I gotta go downstairs. And that's it. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, in real life, he'd go over and say, all right, I can talk to you about this after. I gotta go down and talk to my mom. I'll come back up here and talk to you about this, because this is really important. So give me a minute. She stays there rather than he just goes downstairs. That's end of scene, and then he goes back to LA. And I thought that's not really how that's going to work in real life. Because here's this woman he grew up with telling him that she loves him, and he just blows her off. Has this weird look on his face, and then just kind of blows her off. I didn't buy that, and I think my biggest issue was the main character, kind of a jerk.
Oh, see, I didn't think he was a jerk. I thought he was kind of clueless.
Going along for the ride with some of the stuff, definitely a jerk. Definitely thinking some of that through and going, yeah. Because, you know, money talks.
Can
Am I
you
right?
imagine, though? Because
but they didn't get
he's
into
been
that.
In music for so long and not been successful with it at all.
There's
and
like
all
two
of a sudden
scenes
being
where
really
teenage girls
successful.
chase him, and that's it. Rest of the movie, he can be out in public all he wants, and nobody pays. There's just that one group of teenage girls who know who he is, and that's it. And for the Beatles, if you're going to recreate that he's like the Beatles, they couldn't go anywhere.
But see,
they couldn't leave the house.
It wouldn't be like the Beatles because in this movie it was before the albums were even released.
So why were the teenage girls
only
screaming and chasing him like that? It made it weird because that was the only time it happened.
Right.
In Liverpool, like it's just and in general, do people still chase celebrities like that?
Oh, weird girls, I'm sure would.
Is that still a thing that will chase a celebrity down the street?
Go look up videos of Justin Bieber, and I'm sure you'll find something like that.
He's a, anyways.
I know.
But yeah, that's one of those things that I thought was odd. And the movie sets it up. They set it up so that his song with her is Wonderwall from Oasis. That she heard him playing that, and she fell for him when she heard him singing it at the talent show in school. Yeah. And there's no payoff. There's no payoff. Because I thought, okay, he's going to sing Wonderwall. She'll remember. Her brain will click in. She'll go, that's right, you sang that at school. Because since that never happened, why did she end up becoming his manager?
Yeah.
And why did she fall for him if she never had that moment in high school where he was singing Wonderwall?
So that part where he dreamt about that, and you see him waking up and running to go catch her before she catches the train.
He should have sang Wonderwall.
I wondered, was he going to talk to her about that? Does she have a different memory of it now that Oasis doesn't even exist? Or I had thought, is this where the world reverts back to a world where we knew the Beatles? That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Or is he running to her to talk to her about it? You know, just to see, you know, tell her
and
what's going on.
then the movie kind of sets it up, and then it goes, sorry. That was, you were waiting for that payoff. We're just going to pull the rug out from underneath you again. So it was, I enjoyed the movie. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the movie in parts, but I did spend some time going, I don't think I would have wrote it that way. I don't think that works. I think on some level there were points where maybe they were trying to stretch the narrative out to hit 90 minutes. Where they went, okay, we've got this concept. We could do a half an hour show with this and make it really cute. We're going to make it a movie. We're going to pull it out, drag it out to an hour and a half. We'll get Danny Boyle to direct it because he did 28 Days Later. So, you know, Rage Zombies. Makes perfect sense to have him come in and do a movie about people forgetting the Beatles. All right, sure. I'm kidding. Danny Boyle's a fantastic director. But yeah, it left me wanting in certain spots, and it left me frustrated at the end of it. The end of it, I was just completely befuddled. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the end of that movie.
The oblada. They skipped the cross-dressing part of that song. Did you notice that?
I hadn't even thought of that.
I did, because I know the song, and so I'm just like, oh, okay, how are they going to mix this one into this little end montage? No, they skipped that part.
They rewrote some of the lyrics in a few of the songs to make them a little faster. But, I mean, it hits on all the major hits.
Not quite.
Although the weird part was there's
they didn't
the
do
part
Octopus Garden. I mean, they
mentioned
it.
They mentioned
said
it.
Yellow
they mentioned
Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
They said Strawberry Fields.
Penny Lane.
Yeah.
They mentioned.
Well, see, that's one. Remember, I said there's no way he can do Penny Lane. He can't do Penny Lane by himself and just a guitar. You can't. It wouldn't work.
You couldn't have done.
You can't.
I Am Walrus.
Oh, Revolution #9. That was another one. And when I saw the little post-it, I said, he can't do that one.
Not by himself, no. Revolution well. I don't think you can do just with a guitar. And then Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Good luck doing that one just with a guitar. That is a weird psychedelic.
It'd be doable.
Not well. Wouldn't sound right.
For people that have never heard another version,
but again,
it would work.
If you tried releasing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds now, you're going to have record companies going, so this one's a little weird. You guys could just, I don't know, clean this up, make it more of a happy pop hit, because I don't know that anybody's going to buy this Lucy. Did you know that spells LSD if you make the right? I don't think you should be doing that, and that's not what that song's about either. No. It's been revealed that is not what that song's about. That's an urban legend. It's not what it's about. And any of the backtracking, that's just in there to mess with your heads. People overanalyze the Beatles a lot, so the Beatles just had fun with that. But we don't get into that in this movie. Don't get into any of that. It's just a guy who sings some Beatles songs, and then he learns a lesson, and then the lesson doesn't make any sense. Because if you think about it, if he had never stood on that stage and gone, hi, I'm a fraud, he's rich beyond his wildest dreams. That there's never any kind of comeuppance that would have happened to him. The two people that remembered the Beatles were glad he did it. So that storyline of, oh God, what are these people going to do? They really quickly took any tension out of that whatsoever. Like, oh no, they think he's great. They don't care that he's making $11 billion off of songs that he never wrote. Which I might care. Touch.
No.
If tomorrow I woke up and I went, wait, nobody remembers Rammstein, and then I see some dolt up on a roof singing Rammstein, I'd be like, dude, that's not you. Okay. Somewhere there's Till, there's Richard, there's Paul, and Kristoff and Ollie and Flake, and I'm gonna go get them, and I'm gonna get them together, and you're gonna shut up. That's what you're gonna do, because you're not them. That's just how I'd feel. Not that I have any strong opinion on it or anything.
Right.
Like if we woke up tomorrow and Tool didn't exist, and then you got Beaker McGeek standing up there singing Tool.
See, but that wouldn't work because you can't. Not just anybody can sing like Maynard.
Not just anybody can sing like McCartney and Lennon either.
True.
Especially Lennon.
You can tell that with all the people that do horrible covers of Beatles songs. Oh, they're awful. So many terrible covers of Beatles songs.
Right. So, anyways, that was just one of those things that stuck with me. But overall, if you want to watch a movie that has Beatles songs in it, this has probably got more Beatles songs than anything that isn't a Beatles movie. I'm talking about Help, Yellow Submarine, Sgt. Pepper's, Fight Club, Harry Potter, Star Wars has a lot of Beatles in it. Wouldn't Star Wars be awesome if it was all Beatles songs? So during the fight where they're attacking the Death Star, you got Eleanor Rigby playing.
That song wouldn't work with that at all.
And then during the big battle scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, you could have Maxwell Silverhammer playing.
Yeah, that could work.
That'd be really awesome. Make it happen. Yeah. Make it happen, George. You can do it. Okay. Actually, he doesn't own the rights anymore. Disney does. I don't think
he does.
So, all right, Disney, give me a call. I can remake those Star Wars movies and make them just fantastic. Just have different soundtracks, like Beatles, Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, just whatever kind of music you want to hear, because nothing's sacred anymore. That's the era we live in. All right. Anything else you have, Dad?
I don't think so.
It's not one of those movies that really has a whole lot of plot, characters. I will close with this. I needed more of the parents. There was not enough of his parents, and there wasn't enough of the roadie. Because at the start, we establish he's a screw-up, and then he's not. He actually does a pretty good job the rest of the movie.
Well, you don't really see him doing
he says the wrong things to Ed Sheeran, but most people would because you're going to be starstruck. But other than that, he's fine. So they set it up like, uh-oh, what's he going to do? And then he's actually pretty good. He's pretty competent. Pretty all right. Like, he's panicking about him being late for the plane. I'm thinking, he really wouldn't have cared based on the character he was at the start of this movie. But now he's competent. So that didn't go anywhere. So what did you think?
Oh, with him, I didn't mind that because in the beginning he was bad because he was on drugs, and he wasn't on drugs when they were on tour. He was still kind of ditzy and dorky.
The fact that when they get famous, they stop getting offered drugs is weird. I just have to say, that's a part of the movie that I thought was really, really weird. That the whole drug thing becomes, now he's famous, so yeah, because in L.A., you're not going to find drugs. Right. Yeah. What? It just made it seem like, yes, you have the manager that's kind of a jerk, but they talk a lot about all these temptations he's going to have in L.A. You never see any of it at all. No. He's just in the studio, and then he's going home, and you don't see any of the kind of leechy people you're going to get when you're, like, super, super famous.
But again, offering to help you out. He didn't even have any albums out yet.
No, but they've already established he's the hottest thing in the world.
Right, but he hadn't had any albums released yet. He had the 4 songs that were released online, but I got the feeling that was just a digital release. It wasn't
right, but it just
you would get paid instantly for that.
It was weird. It was bizarre. So it's not really a musical. It's kind of a romantic movie. It's not.
It's a rom-com. Yep, it is.
And the comedy part is kind of strained in parts,
the end,
too.
They end up married. The beginning, it's the two of them. The whole movie, it's the two of them. It's a romantic comedy.
All right. Well, if you enjoy your romantic comedies with very, very little romance, this is the movie for you.
There's a lot of romantic comedies that are like that. Think about all of the rom-coms from the 80s.
No, like, you can do it well.
A lot of them. They don't even like each other for the whole
One of the greatest romantic comedies is While You Were Sleeping, which has very little romance in it for most of that movie. But it sets everything up really nicely. And this one is just sort of, We'll set it up. Oh, we got to put it on the back burner because we're going to save that for the end.
No,
and it just felt like they were
common
killing
thing for
time.
movies, though.
It shouldn't feel like they're just killing time.
See, I didn't think it felt like killing time.
It felt like they were killing time. It's Lily frickin' James, okay? Lily James. All right. She's not some dowdy little, you know,
yes,
frumpy girl.
That makes a huge difference.
No, I'm just saying that as a dude, and he's grown up with her.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it makes a huge
He's
difference.
magically in love with her at the end. If that's true, then while he's managing with her and they're together so much all the time, something somewhere at least would have crossed his mind. And yet they don't establish that until ta-da, at the end.
Because he saw her as a friend until she said something.
Until he sees her with somebody else. So.
No.
And then it's just, oh, crap, she's with somebody else. Quick, I better go get her because I got to wreck her life. It's kind of how it works. All right, there you go. If you saw this movie, let us know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I want to say as well, the acting in this was very good. Yeah. Very good. Oh, yeah. Ed Sheeran, you knocked it out of the park acting like Ed Sheeran. It was very believable that he was Ed Sheeran. Just want to say, he can be himself better than anybody else could be him. And that's fantastic. So, there you go. Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
No? All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. We'll talk to you again soon.